receivers currently, or are you going to have to add to that group?
Always looking to add. Always looking to add. Again, for us, it's about driving the competition and pushing the roster. Always looking to incrementally get better. If we can push the guys that are at the bottom end of the roster, if you will, to pushing those next guys, it'll improve all of us.
Would you be comfortable enough with the current group if you had to go into week one with these guys?
Assuming they perform and they demonstrate that they're worth being on this football team, absolutely. I think that's what it comes down to. They all have to go out and perform when it comes time to playing games and preseason games and consistently perform in practice.
Ray, what are your... You've seen these guys, especially the new ones that you've brought in, minicamp, off-season program, and now a couple of days. Where do you think this team has progressed, or how far do you think it's progressed from when you took over as the GM?
Again, my job, my role here is to try to improve the talent on this football team. I think we did that. To what degree, I'll let you guys judge. I think I'm always looking to get better. The movie's never over. And so every day we come out here, every day we sit in there with the scouts, we're looking to improve our roster.
Ray,
so,
what if you... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. But go ahead. I'm fine. But that's it. We're just looking to drive the roster. And, again, we were talking on the field today about guys that we've seen on the wire, guys that we've seen come through, what our interest level may or may not be, and how can we continue to get better.
What have you thought about now that you see Tate and West do the whole thing with two running backs? What have you thought about that?
I think that not only Tate and West, but I do think we have a good stable, if you will, of runners. And I like the group that we have, and I'm excited to see those guys put the pads on and see kind of what happens once they do get the pads on, of how they carry those pads and how they bounce around against our defense.
Ray, your impressions of Brian Hoyer coming back from the ACL, the way he's dealt with the offseason and his start to camp?
I think Brian's been phenomenal. I think he's handled it like a pro, which is what you would like. And he's a man's man. He didn't cry over spilled milk. He attacked his rehab. He was here probably more than anybody. I mean, I think I work a lot of hours, and there wasn't very many hours that I wasn't in the building that Brian wasn't somewhere working on his craft, be it a meeting room, be it the indoor facility, be it the weight room. He did everything he could to put himself in the best position possible. And now he's going to go out and perform. And
his agent has been very public about contract extension talks. Can you kind of describe, your desire there and where you might be in that process?
I will never negotiate through the media. Again, I apologize. It's just not my thing to talk about a player's financial prowess, if you will, to anyone else but him and his agent. So Ray, I'll avoid that one.
Ray, there's a growing vibe. There just seems to be an aura that, this is kind of Brian's team right now, that you guys are moving forward with the idea that Brian's, can start the first preseason game. It looks like it's rolling along for him to start the season over. Is this an accurate perception? I
would say that everybody's going to get their opportunities. I mean, Brian right now is working with the ones, and as he goes, that's what will happen. As coaches make decisions, and we definitely have meetings every single day about who's doing what, how well they're performing, and who needs to get more reps in what situations. And so as we move through with that, coach will make those decisions. We'll all have input, and we'll see what happens when the movie ends.
We showed very decisive and effective today. Is that reflective of the work you put in?
Brian?
With a new system? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the guy's a pro. I mean, if you watch how he attacked all of it, like his rehab, his mental state, all of it, he has been a professional. And you can see it. I mean, one bad day doesn't make or break it. It's the consistency that makes you win in the National Football League. Guys have great games, and you never hear from them. It's the guy that can routinely go out and perform time and time again that we want, and Brian's starting to show that that's what he's going to do.
It's easy to then compare him to a guy who was on party circuit and is learning.
Again, I would tell you that, like I said, from Brian's perspective, he's been a pro, he's handled himself the right way, and I'm going to compare Brian to Brian.
Would you say it might be harder for Johnny to show up well in these kind of drills because so much of what you've seen on film and what everybody has seen is the improvising and the stuff that he does during games?
I would say that Johnny shows up fine. I mean, you watch him in practice, you watch him do what he does, and again, the interesting part about it is that most people fall in love with the highlights because that's what gets portrayed. Nobody really pays attention to the routine throw, but he's made routine throws. He made routine throws at Texas A&M, he made routine throws out here. So from our perspective, we really like the idea that he can grow and do all the things that we're going to expect him to do.
Ray was super early, but is there a hole so far? And on the flip side, I mean, do you see a hole so far? We definitely need help here. And on the flip side, is there a group that sort of pleasantly surprised you?
I think there's always work to be done. I'm not going to single out any one group of our football team. I do think that as we look at where we're going to definitely look to address every position. And they're never done. We're never content with where we're at. I think the great teams, they make transactions and they move on from guys and they improve and they get better in time. You go back and you watch some of the teams that have kind of attained success here recently. They had a lot of transactions on those football teams in a short period of time. And it's not an indictment on anything other than looking to get better, looking to incrementally get better, and that's where we're at.
Ray, was Joel Bitonio your highest rated guard, and what did you like about him so much?
I don't want to talk about my board and kind of who was where, but I will tell you I definitely liked the player on tape. For me, he had a lot of similarities to players that I've seen had a lot of success in this league. Guy that played left tackle, he was gritty, he was tough, he was athletic, he played smart, didn't have a lot of mistakes. And he wasn't on the ground. When you watched his tape, he could run downfield, engage a defensive back, stay on his feet, finish the block. And all of those things added up to me that a guy would come to this league and have success, specifically with the type of scheme we're going to employ.
What have you thought of Gilbert?
Say again?
What have you thought of Justin Gilbert so far?
I think Justin Gilbert's been good. I mean, he came in, he crushed the run test, he ran. I actually thought he had the hardest part of it. I mean, people have talked about that before, but he came out and ran it one day by himself. It was windy. He ran through the wind one way, ran with the wind another way. And crushed it. So kudos to him. I think he's looked good while he's been out here. He made a break the first day, and he's like all the other young players. He's learning to get better day by day. He's taking the coaching. He seems engaged in the meetings, and so we're excited about where he can go.
With Jordan Cameron, did you expect the type of season he had last year, and how hard will it be for him to duplicate that with maybe more focus or not Josh Gordon running next to him?
I would say that if you look at Jordan. Last year, you could say it's a surprise. I think we want all of our players to play at that level, and he did. He performed. He did it. And if you look at early in the year, he was really good when Josh wasn't available. And so, from our perspective, we hope he can continue that. I think that's really the moniker of the guys that make a difference year in and year out, are the guys that they continually put those numbers up, regardless if they're a focal point or if they're not. If you look at the better tight ends, I had the fortune of being in Kansas City with Tony Gonzalez. They double teamed him, they triple teamed him, they quadruple teamed him, but he still caught footballs. It really didn't matter, and we're hoping Jordan can take those kind of steps.
Ray, how's it going for you? I mean, this is your first.
I'm good. It's been good. Pet and I meet routinely. We're enjoying the journey together. I think that's what it's about. You know, our organization is moving in a direction where we're excited about what the future holds. But again, we realize it's a process, and we're just going to work, have fun in the moment, and enjoy it.